All right, so here I am, the real Ted G, and today I have the real Monica. But more importantly, Monica's the coolest website I've ever assisted with. Her website name is
Monty Makes It Easy.
Monty over here is crushing it. Monty made it to us via another firm, and she actually fulfills a slight fantasy I have with a lot of my agents that start with me and have never been to another company or office or of any sort in real estate. So I always wonder, should I ask a couple of my agents that have never seen how the other half lives, almost to say, hey, listen, take a break, go for 1 month, go over here and check things out. But Monty did that already. She actually checked another company out for 6 whole months. So you were a new agent.
Yes.
And then you worked for somewhere else for 6 months.
Yes.
So my first question is, why did you start interviewing other companies 6 months later?
Well, at first, at the start of my journey, I interviewed many companies, and I found a lot of the time that I was just another number, more so with these larger companies. As I started to interview...
So you did so at the beginning,
Yes.
when you first started, you did interview multiple companies, as you
Yes.
should. Okay.
Once I started looking into boutique brokerages, especially in towns where I come from. I grew up in East Patchogue. I was looking more so in Bellport. I found that I could get that one-on-one mentorship, which I did, and maybe a little bit more hands-on.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think a lot of people would have to agree. A boutique style. I go to a gym that's considered a boutique style
Yes.
gym. And yes, I totally feel much more one-on-one with Orange Theory or CrossFit or kickboxing than if I just went to Planet Fitness or whatever's out there these days. So I agree. Most people would. And I think on our interview, when you finally interviewed here, which was not 6 months earlier, it
No.
was 6 months later. But it's not about being the last interview. It's about being the right one.
That's right.
So when you interviewed, I don't know if I did say this. I do say it to a lot of people because we have the Coldwell Banker name. We have a nice large franchise behind us, which can make a big difference if utilized right. Just like any other resource, some people you can rely on resources, but you're much better off to rely on being resourceful. So I do describe my brand is that I describe us as we're big enough to have that corporate resources, the big brand behind us, and we're a small enough company that can get you that boutique style, environment as well. And I hope we accomplish that.
Yes, you have.
So number one reason you joined.
Number one, so maybe it's because I was new, maybe it's because I was naive. I thought that a smaller brokerage was exactly what I wanted. But as I started my journey in real estate, as I started to meet with buyers, as I started going on CMA appointments, I realized that there were a lot of things I didn't know. There were a lot of marketing ideas that I didn't even know how to even start. I didn't know where to begin. And I found myself starting to Google, looking on podcasts and on YouTube channels, which always recommend doing, regardless where you're at. I just didn't have the tools to really help me apply that in my real estate journey.
Okay. And you're one of the reasons I decided to do podcasts.
Oh, wonderful.
When I heard what you just told me, because you said it to me about a month, has it been a month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a little over.
And I thought, this poor girl, she's on Google, she's on YouTube, she's listened to podcasts. And I always wondered, because when I started real estate, and it really wasn't a million years ago, it really was 20 years ago, when I would go to a seminar, when I would go to an event where they might have a panel of experts, successful experts. And I made this distinction in my head when you were talking, when you were saying podcasts, and I said, wait a minute, and YouTube. I said, wait a minute. So when I went to a seminar before YouTube existed, wait, I really mean that, by the way, and TikTok wasn't even a thought, the people that are sitting on stage were actual success stories. They were actual people that had the numbers to back them up, the number of transactions, the knowledge, the experience, the expertise. We're talking about people that have read books that would fill my office building. That's how many books, and that's how much they've done. I've been trained, and I've gone to seminars with from some of the best people in the industry, trainer wise, everything. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I could go onto YouTube. Now, I'm not saying I didn't do any transactions. I think I have more than my share. I probably have more than everyone's share. So, and I'm thinking, but wait, who is she listening to? So it scares me. It scares me that anyone could have a podcast. It scares me that anyone could be listening. It scares me that I think we had a meeting with the newer agents at the time about a week ago, and someone said, well, here's how I would handle this objection. I heard this on a podcast. And I just started hearing these words, and I said, that doesn't sound like anything I've ever encountered by some of my trainers, some of my mentors themselves, some of the top trainers and real estate personalities in the industry. And I'm thinking, where'd you hear that? And the person says, oh, it was a podcast. I'm thinking, wow. So I decided to do these podcasts. Some of them are going to be funny. Some of them are going to be fun. Some of them are going to be boring. But I said, I might as well put it out there. And I always wonder, who do we listen to? We listen to people, but do we know what they've done or what expertise? I mean, listen, when it comes to diet, don't listen to me. If I gave someone advice on dieting, someone should just, hit me across the head and say,
same here.
Exactly. If someone wants to know about Orange Theory, maybe they could listen to me. Yeah. I love Orange Theory. I love everything they say. I love everything they do. All right. And if someone wants to ask a question about real estate and real estate transactions, I know where I'm coming from. And I'm going to talk about me now, but that's not exactly unheard of. So I'm coming from, I think I have actually participated in over 1,000 transactions. I actually got an award from Coldwell Banker in 2008 for listing the most properties in the Northeast at some point. There's a trophy somewhere. I don't know where I did with it. And so I do know how to list a home. I listed probably close to about 750, some of them more than once. I do know how to sell a home. I do know how to market a home. I even know how to train agents. And as one of our other colleagues says, create or breed fire-breathing dragons. So I'm good with giving that advice. And I hope people start subscribing. But more importantly, I thought you are so well-spoken.
Oh, thank you.
That was that was excellent.
Oh,
the way you described it. You could actually do a tutorial on the interviewing process for joining a real estate firm.
I would love to.
I may have to put that together. Then when someone Googles what to do when interviewing, they could find your podcast, and they could find how your questions to ask. I love the idea.
Yeah, me too.
So I have a couple more questions for you. Give me the number one way we're different here at Coldwell Banker M&D Good Life.
Number one way that you guys are different is offering the training, the tools, the resources that a new agent needs to start out in this business. Whereas you go to a smaller brokerage or a boutique place and they just don't have that.
Even a larger brokerage has the training. It's amazing the tools that exist in our industry. And it's amazing the tools that exist at our disposal as an agent. But it's also amazing at how few of them are used by the industry.
Yes.
You mentioned that you didn't prospect at your previous...
I did not.
And I think that it's not because the idea of prospecting wasn't available. I think it's the idea of, listen, this is how it could be done. I offer it up, and you say this is the the procedure, this is the strategy, and then make it easy for them, for an agent, a new agent especially, to do it. Not necessarily that I'm going to go with you every time, right, but see how harmless it is. I mean, don't break anything, but you knock on a door or you call a prospect, and it's just about a conversation. They have a problem, they want to sell their home or they want to buy a home, and you're actually there to help with the solution, to help solve their problem.
Right.
So I do. I mean, well, anyway. So that's the number. So the resources and I'll just say the word technology, but we all know everyone has a technology.
Yes, everyone does, but
Everyone has technology, but not everyone goes to the moon.
that's right.
I know I'm full of one-liners. What's your favorite one-liner for me? Do you have one?
The Harry Potter one you just said downstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I'll pick.
Well, it's probably because it's the most recent I remember.
Okay, but no, it's a good one. I really love it. I like that one too. So picture it. So I had my first broker was a real bad word. Well, he was a good one, good at it. So I learned a lot from him. But he really didn't pull any punches. But picture it down. Well, I just make it nicer and cleaner. So picture it. Another newer agent is standing there giving a newer agent, maybe some tips or pointers. So I turn and say, listen, you may do one or two magic tricks, but it doesn't make you Harry fucking Potter. And I may have just added the F word. Sorry. Yes. But just because you got one or two magic tricks right doesn't make you Harry Potter. Remember that. I have a few of my famous one-liners, but I come up with them every so often.
You're pretty good with them.
Yeah. And there was something I made you do. Well, wait. Yeah, I made you do it. Well, I suggested it. You did use one of my favorite photographers for a photo shoot.
Oh, yes. Susan Schiebler.
Mm-hmm. Oh. And, you can mention names. Okay. It's okay. Shameless plugs are okay.
Okay.
She is one of the best, and I should know. I love her photo shoots. I love the empowerment of her photo shoots.
It was incredible.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the final product, which we're going to see tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And then we take those resources and we become resourceful, whether it's we're using them for specific type of campaigns.
Right.
And that would be the thing. As long as the candidate is willing, we have so many things at our disposal, so much that we can offer. And I'm glad you're listening, but we're only as good as the people that listen to us. So I am excited about that. That's another way that you can differentiate yourself. And we should update our photos every 5 years or so.
Yes.
Because the last thing you need is, your high school photo on your business card when, you're my age. So even I went and I updated my photos. Yes, I actually had just gone.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm trying to think. I feel there was one more topic I wanted to cover. How we're different. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your decision?
10. I am thrilled.
See, my one-liner would be like 12.
12. I'm thrilled to be here. There were a lot of things that even thinking about prospecting, for example, door knocking. Would I have done that 4 months ago? Absolutely not. It was not something that I'd ever envisioned myself doing. But today, I'm hungry, and you have provided me with the tools that I needed to feel comfortable to go up to someone's door and show them that I really am here to help.
And we are.
Done.
And thank you for helping. Thank you for joining me on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That's the real Ted G. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram.